This is Bonaview.
The Medilag alumni, it's called the Medilag High Table and Fundraising Dinner, was thought about by a few very important members of the institution. Of course, Professor Ashiru is one of them, and he actually also chaired the dinner planning committee, of which I was honored to be a part of. At Pharsh Pharma Services Nigeria Ltd, work within the pharmaceutical clinical research environment. Okay, so when I talk about, when you hear the phrase pharmaceutical industry mentioned, a lot of people always think about pharmaceutical companies manufacturing drugs and perhaps distributing them. But there's a lot of work that goes into the development of a medical drug or medical compound that a lot of people are not aware of. So where I work is in that space. All right. So of course there's a lot of preclinical studies that go into obtaining data about a particular medical compound or chemical compound, I meant to say. And then you obtain data from that, and then you go ahead to test them on human subjects. Right? Whether if the drugs are like innovative drugs, first in human, you have to test it on healthy subjects, and then from the data obtained from that, if the data is is good, it's safe, you then move on to the use of that chemical compound in patient populations. So I discovered that I'm like a black dot in a sea of white faces, so I'm usually like the only black face in the companies that I worked at. So that's very glaring, and I figured that I could do something about that, and what I did was that I conceptualized Pharsh Pharma. All right, so we actually have an incorporated company in the state of North Carolina, in the city of Raleigh, in North Carolina, in the U.S. So we started training people. All right, so we trained them in the concepts of good clinical practices, and teaching them on what it means to actually participate and conduct clinical trials. Right, and many of them, of course, have been helped. We charted a path for them, to actually get into the pharmaceutical industry to actually work, to get gainful employment.